All right, everybody, welcome back to another session of Rubbin' Dirt. Today we have your Hobby Stock USRA National Champion, Dylan Clinton. Dylan, 19 wins this year. That's a huge, tremendous success. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't really follow the Hobby Stock?
Yes, so this will be my third year of racing hobby stock. Originally, I started in the tuners or the Hornet class, the four cylinders. I raced that for, I don't know, 4 years before, and then I decided to move up classes. And definitely it takes a lot to move up a class and try to be competitive. My first year starting hobby, it did pretty well. I mean, I hung out there and all fifth or sixth or in that area for most of the time. And then last year I had a pretty decent year, and this year has just been very lucky and successful. I originally grew up by Elkader and Edgewood, so it's been kind of a drive to come up to Fayette County Speedway or going to Upper Iowa Winneshiek Speedway, and most of the time that's kind of where I raced at for weekly shows. And then I bounce around once in a while and go hit up some specials or shows in like Fountain City or Mason City or Webster City there.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like you definitely stayed busy throughout this year. Again, 19 wins. That's absolutely amazing. Not a whole lot of people come close to doing that. So again, congratulations.
Yeah, no, it's been just a very busy season this year. I was not really expecting to even go for national points. I was just planning on trying to get some, win some track championships and just kind of go for that. And I just been started out strong, and most of the season have been pretty strong all season, right up to the front there, and just kept working at it hard and pushing myself as much as I could to try to keep on top of keeping the car ready to go week on, week out.
All right. Now, my first question for you is, why did you choose to go from tuners to hobby stock?
So, hobby stock's kind of your next step, roughly. I know I don't really. I guess I didn't really want to go to any other class besides hobby stock. I knew it's a very competitive class around, especially around Northeast Iowa. There's a lot of guys that are definitely tough to compete against. I mean, they're fast, hands down, and it's nice to race guys like that. And they hand out a little bit of help here and there just to try to help you out when I first started, and then off I went. Other than that, it's kind of mod lights we have. I don't really watch them or want to do anything like that. They're pretty small. So, no, I enjoy running hobby stock, and eventually I'll move up to stock car eventually.
Sounds like a good plan. Now, how did you get into dirt track racing?
So a lot of my family, years back, used to race. My dad raced for many years when I was just a little kid, and I actually competed against a lot of guys that I watched race hobby stock like 20 some years ago. So I race against them now, and I enjoy it. I mean, I know who they are, and it's fun. It's like it's always been something I've wanted to do when I was a kid, and I always went up to Echo Valley Speedway years ago before it closed down, and I always enjoyed watching all the races up there every Saturday night. I was hoping to get to race on that track, and I never got to because they closed down before I was even old enough to race.
Well, that obviously is unfortunate. I hate hearing the times of when tracks close. Now, my next question for you, it may not apply to you just because you are the national champion this year for hobby stock, but how do you feel as though the USRA does with the rules? Do you feel as though it keeps everything that tight knit competition, or do you feel as though if some people have a bigger, higher car count somewhere else, they're able to just absolutely tear away on the points?
Um, I say I like USRA definitely. I tried racing INCA like one race, and it just wasn't for me. It just he had some better parts, like Lorenz a couple years ago before that. INCA finally switched over floaters, but that was one thing that kind of concerned me. And running the prime low tires or like the 7-inch tires, I really don't care for that very much. I just feel like you just makes it racing a lot better when you got some decent tread on the track to get close to somebody and speed super tight. Other than that, I guess I really enjoyed the USRA.
No, I can't necessarily call this rubbing dirt without this question for the drivers. But if you had to pick somebody you race against, either weekly or in the national run of points, who would you say would be considered your rival or your biggest competitor that drives you to try to drive better?
I would say that'd be Dustin Branson. He is, he's a 7-time national champ, and he knows how to win races and get it done. So yeah, usually he shows up. I'm always trying to be on my game to try to be there to be as fast as I can and competitive.
Though, now, you just mentioned, the guy you beat this year. Did it feel kind of wholesome to beat him for the national championship this year and prevent him from collecting that 8th one?
It does. It's definitely a big accomplishment. He's tough to beat. Every year there, so on. But yeah, he's definitely a good guy, and we really enjoy hanging out with each other there after races, and it's always a good time. But yeah, definitely it's something special, I guess, to try to beat someone like that.
Well, obviously, seems like you and Dustin have developed a good friendship and drive each other to do better. Now, next question for you is, out of all the tracks you get to run, is there a track that is your absolute favorite, and if so, why?
So, we've got to race up at Deer Creek. I really enjoy a track that's nice and wide, where you can start, 15th or 20th place, and you can still have a chance to pull it off to win it. And I think them guys up there just do a phenomenal job on the track prep, and so yeah, I really enjoy going up there. I know it's kind of a long haul to go to Deer Creek, and I know they're going to have hot stacks next year. It's still going to be a kind of a long haul to go up there to race. I'm kind of planning on racing Fayette County and Winnesheek Raceway next year, just kind of more of a local place around for me. So, but yeah, it's always fun going up to Deer Creek, or even Fountain City. They have a phenomenal track up there too, and that's always fun. You always got that chance to still have a good finish, starting in the back, and still have a chance to win it.
Now, I believe I did reach out to Deer Creek today, and I hope to secure an interview with them as well. So that'd be great to, give them the feedback from a driver. Obviously just promoting them there. Hopefully they feel the same way about you. I know a lot of these USRA tracks, they're absolutely amazing. Nobody's really grumbled about any of them. Not saying every track doesn't have their, ups and downs and things that some drivers would like to improve, or some things drivers would go, I wish you'd quit doing that because of this. But, it's always nice to hear from a driver's perspective on why they like a track. Moving into that, the supporters, who out there, is considered in your mind, some of your biggest supporters for your racing seasons?
So I have definitely gathered a lot of sponsors over the last few years here, and I would have to say that Assassin Chassis, that's my chassis builder. I mean, he hands down went out of his way to get me into a decent car, and I have to say Mitch Goldsmith, Channel Seed, Iron Hill Power Sports, and Walk On, Moyle Rental Services. I got my parents giving me some help, and Meese Construction, Tom Dale Wagner Farms, K Construction, Kendrick Forest Products, Tammy and Jeff Callahan, Dustin Clinton Trucking, Barb and Kevin Johnson, Camp Power Sports, and of course my wife and my son. Definitely been some big supporters, and she like videos and does a lot for me to help me out in my whole program. And of course my son's like my lucky charm. And we got like Amsoil and Poncho and Ellen Clinton, Meyer True Value, High Drive Therapy, and the Stump Guy. Napa Strawberry Point, Stall Truckin', Edgewood Farm and Home Supply, and Niecy's Pizza. It's a pretty big pile of them. And I really appreciate every person that really gave me a lot of help. And I know I have a kind of a crew that kind of helps me week out to give me at least a hand one of the nights, and that'd be Josh Hills and Josh Harms and Kevin Johnson, just giving me a hand sometimes. I mean, it's a lot of work to even get ready for the next race. I mean, it takes a lot to try to be very competitive.
Of course it does. Now moving on, this is the off season and time to really heal those battle wounds and get ready to think about next year. Because I know everybody, even though the season just ended, everybody's already thinking about next year. You know, how can I topple that guy? How can I be in his shoes at this time? You know, next year looking back, I got a jacket with my name on it and I got the trophy to match. You know, would you say next year you think you can go back-to-back national championships for hobby stock, or is there something else in the works that maybe you would like to keep hush, maybe potentially moving over to a different class?
It's kind of in the works, but no, I think next year I don't foresee it. We're actually working on building hopefully a new house, or we just got a rental. We sold our house this summer, and I actually sold my shop this summer, so I ended up losing out on a shop, and it definitely made a challenge for me not having a shop anymore to work on my race car. And I ended up getting a smaller storage unit, and that's what I've been working on my car most of the season. So I feel like I had a lot of challenges this summer and the season just with that. So hopefully next year I need to focus on trying to get a new shop and somewhere to work on my car, and hopefully we can end up building next year, but it's all in the works of seeing what's going to happen here, getting established there.
All right. Now, if there wasn't any kind of issues out there in the world that would prevent you from doing this, what would be the one class you, sorry, what would be the one class you, absolutely would love to run before you either quit racing for good or just to say you ran it at least 1 year?
Well, if you would have asked me that question 2 years ago, it would have been just hobby stock. But with the success I've had in the last couple of years, now pretty much just taking on the next challenge and moving up to stock car eventually. I enjoy going to races pretty much just to watch the stock cars and hobby stocks. I think that's two best classes to watch every race I go to, really.
Now, you know, you got into this racing business obviously it became a very family oriented thing for you. Can that play a big factor into how much experience and success that you have got out there? And would your experience, you say, has been what led you to winning a national championship this year?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of knew a little bit about, hobby stocks and stuff from years and years back and watched a lot of racing. I'm sure that kind of helped me. I had a lot of success in running the tuners and hornets there. For the last few years, I won quite a few races with them, and I think just knowing or like feeling the feeling of trying to be fast every race and keeping up the momentum throughout the entire race is what kind of was a key factor for me. I guess hopefully I can keep improving next couple of years here or whatever. So
now, everybody's got their little quirks and here and there kind of things that kind of helps build what their racing and their seasons mean to them. Would you say there's kind of like a special tradition to you or a superstition that you believe in for going to the track?
yeah, most of the time we go to the track, of course, where everybody wants to go there to win, but we like to stick around and enjoy hanging out with friends and family at the track too. And I really believe in family and racing together and friends it's a really neat deal. And so we definitely stick around and have a few beers with friends that we race against, and try to enjoy the racing.
Now, obviously, friendship and track family and family to begin with is a huge thing. As far as going out there, the national championship this year, what kind of did you take away the most from this? Did you, as far as how good it feels, and would you say that now you've joined one of those championship lists, you've become a little bit of an ambassador for the sport?
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely a very big step to be able to hold off and pick up my first national championship. I mean, it's just I'm still kind of soaking it in yet. I just can't believe that it actually happened. I never was really expecting to get this far. I know last year I ended up getting second, but it took a lot last year to get the second, but it was I guess I got it done. But yeah, it's finally accomplished a major goal that I set when I was a little kid. I always wanted to win at least one time the national champ, and it's definitely a really good feeling.
So does that trophy now have a special spot in your heart and on the trophy case?
Oh yes, it does. It's something to remind you of how the friends that came and gave me a hand when I tore the car up, or everybody that helped me out throughout the season, or wanted to go help me out in the pits to go racing, because there's some nights it was just me and my wife going to the track, and because we were started racing 2 or 3 nights a weekend, so it definitely got pretty busy. And no, I'll never forget all the memories I made this whole season.
Now, do you think a little later down the road, do you think wife might get tired of sitting on the sideline watching you and go, "Hey, I want to run with you," or she going, "I'm going to stay away from that section of the crazy"?
Yeah, I don't see her getting into the driver's seat really. She really really enjoys going to the races and videotaping me, and especially taking our son. I would say probably our son will have more of a chance of getting behind the wheel eventually, years down the road.
I mean, obviously, you know, that'd be a great success, passing the torch on down to your son, too. Teaching him everything you know, or maybe keeping some of them things a secret and going, nah, that's just how you got to learn. You got to learn your own tricks and trades. Uh, I don't perceive you would do that to him. I think you'd set him up on the best way, and I still think he wouldn't believe you and go, Dad, I don't know what you're talking about running that high line. You just want to run that low line so you can shoot underneath me and pass me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of one of my next goals is going to be, you know, once he's old enough to try to get him in the seat. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, of course, I know a lot of drivers, they couldn't do it without their family and their support from them, and that ultimately is a lot of their goals, is to pass it down, the torch down to their kids, or a couple cases they say they're not passing it per se down to their kids, they're passing it along to their niece or nephew that are closer in the age and getting them set up. So obviously, without the next generation, dirt track racing wouldn't survive, and you know, that's to speak levels and volumes to our sports. We're not strictly here. Everybody comes and goes. Families racing lineage, it gets tied back way back in the day when tracks opened to the times when the families no longer race, but they come out and still see the track, or the track closes down.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer when that happens.
Exactly. Now, my last question for you, it's a very, very loaded question, and I don't know if you've ever thought about this question too much, but what does racing mean the most to you?
So, I would say for racing-wise, I mean, the biggest thing is to get out and see, you know, friends that you make over the weekend, and you know, getting the family together, because there's just a reason to go to the racetrack, or kind of a event. You know, most of the family members would come to enjoy watching some races, and I would say that's probably one of the main things, is your friends and family coming to the track. And then I really enjoy driving. I mean, no doubt about that. It's always so fun and competitive, and just getting out on the track, it's a different feeling when you're on the track racing. You're just kind of by yourself, and you're racing next to somebody like inches away, and hard to race. And I mean, that's what makes it enjoyable. I would say the friends and family is probably the biggest thing to me.
Now, is there anything you would like to say to those who you have supported and gotten you this far, or to a fellow competitor that may be listening before you go?
No, I just kind of getting ready for 2023 season, and hopefully it's going to be a good season and have some fun, and gonna drink some beers with some friends and family.
Well, I definitely look forward to hearing from you for the 2023 season, and seeing how you progress in the season and how it goes, and wish you the best of luck on getting that new shop and maybe trying to go back out there and reclaim another championship.
Yeah, I appreciate talking to you.
On behalf of us and the crew of Dubby, we thank Dubby for sponsoring us, or partnering up with us rather, to help make things like this happen. And don't forget to go out to your local dirt tracks coming next year, and continue to pour out your support for your local drivers. Develop a favorite one, or maybe not particular favorite, but choose a couple people out there that you'd really like to see win and give them the support you can. It's not all about NASCAR out here in